welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to a new cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Uyi Agbomofobi, reminding our viewers that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. You can download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our 247 broadcast. President Bola Tinubu has arrived to Benue State on a one-day visit to commiserate with the government and people of the state over the recent killings. During the visit, the president is expected to hold meetings with key stakeholders, including traditional rulers, political leaders, religious figures, community heads, and youth representatives. The engagement is aimed at exploring lasting solutions to the recurring hostilities. Well, it's good to know that the president has also met with some of the victims, most of whom are currently being hospitalized. In the meantime, Benue State House of Assembly has attributed the widespread killings in the country to the security agency's half-hearted approach to the issue, urging the people of the state to remain vigilant and defend themselves within the ambit of the law to safeguard their lives and property. He also requested Governor Hyacinth Alia to declare 3 days of mourning in honor of victims of the Yawata massacre and activation of the anti-open grazing law in the state. President Bola Tinubu has commissioned new national headquarters building for the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Abuja. The president says the project is aimed at enhancing the commission's operational capacity and reinforce public trust in the country's democratic institutions. Our correspondent, Godwin Sunday, has details. We'll follow through and bring you those details later, but let's move on to other stories for you in the meantime. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Chair of the Economic Community of West African States Mediation and Security Council, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, has raised concerns over the apparent inclusion of Economic Community of West African States ECOWAS member states in a new wave of United States visa restrictions, describing the policy as a significant barrier to trade, diplomacy, and regional prosperity. Speaking at the opening of the 54th Ordinary Session of the Mediation and Security Council at the ministerial level in Abuja, Ambassador Tugar warned that such restrictions could stifle efforts to deepen U.S.-West Africa relations, particularly at a time when the region is ripe for economic cooperation and security collaboration. The 17 candidates nominated by President Bola Tinubu to oversee the affairs of River State's Independent Electoral Commission, River State's Civil Service Commission, and Rivers State Local Government Service Commission have officially declared their assets before the Code of Conduct Bureau. The leader of the Senate, Moremi Bamidele, disclosed this during the screening exercise by the Senate ad hoc committee to oversee the activities of the River State Sole Administrator, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, retired. The assets declaration came on the heel of the security clearance by the Department of State Services and the Nigerian Police. Minister of Environment Balarabe Lawal has called for urgent action to end plastic pollution. The minister, who announced this during the 2025 World Environment Day commemoration held in Abuja, said the warning became necessary as unmanaged waste contaminates rivers, oceans, ecosystem, and contributes to flooding. Sharon Ajay has more.
The Minister of Environment, Balarabe Lawal, says the federal government has developed and implemented a national policy on plastic waste management aimed at reducing plastic consumption, promoting recycling, and encouraging environmental innovation. He highlighted the need for innovation, noting that the potential is to create green jobs while addressing pollution. He commended youth groups and environmental clubs for their activism and encouraged more grassroots awareness campaigns to drive behavioral change.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate World Environmental Day today, I would like to assure you that the federal government of Nigeria, under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is committed to a cleaner, greener, and more resilient environment, in line with the renewed hope agenda. We are taking decisive steps to address public pollution at all levels. The Federal Ministry of Environment has developed and is implementing national policy on plastic waste management. Our memo was approved by the council, and we have been trying to come up with a framework for trying to implement that. We provide strategic framework for reducing plastic use, promoting recycling, and encouraging innovation in alternative use of plastics.
The President, Economic Community of West African Commission, Omar Toure, who was represented by Director for Environment and Natural Resources, Bernard Kofi, delivered a regional perspective on the crisis. Kofi revealed that West Africa generates nearly 8 million tons of plastic waste annually, with 80% of it mismanaged. He warned that this poses serious risks to public health, the environment, and economic development. He described plastic pollution as a shared regional challenge, particularly affecting coastal nations. Kofi highlighted the 2023 ECOWAS regional regulation on plastics and urged member states to harmonize legislature, embrace circular economy models, and act decisively.
Plastic pollution is not only a global menace concern, but a regional and national crisis. According to the World Bank, the region generates nearly 8 million metric
is to enforce policies like ban of single-use plastic, and also to hold producers accountable to the very last mile of the lifespan of the plastic being produced. And apart from that, encourage circular economy, whereby our people are encouraged to recycle, reuse, and also uptake most of these plastic plastic products by encouraging youth industries or small cottage industries to see how they can recycle. They need government empowerment, backing, and also private sector encouragement too, like funding, to also make this happen. Government must stand firm on policies and make sure it's being implemented.
Other speakers echoed the call for unity, innovation, and sustained commitment to environmental protection, reminding attendees that Earth remains our only home. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
Well, thank you, Sharon Ajay. The National Emergency Management Agency has received 147 Nigerians who voluntarily returned from Agadez, Niger Republic. The repatriation was coordinated by the International Organization for Migration, IOM, in collaboration with other stakeholders involved in migrant support and reintegration. The agency disclosed that out of the 107 returnees, 143 were adult males. This was one male child and one adult male among the group. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has announced stringent sanctions against individuals and computer-based test CBT centers found guilty of infractions during its registration and examination processes. The board's registrar, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, disclosed these during a stakeholders meeting on examination infractions held in Abuja. Priscilla Obasi completes the story.
The JAMB registrar, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, says any registrant found to have enrolled more than 50 candidates using suspicious methods will be barred from participating in any JAMB-related activity, including the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME) for a period of 3 years. He added that the suspension also extends to preventing registrants from taking part in the examinations of other sister bodies such as WAEC, NECO, and NAPTEC within the same period. He noted that after 3 years, the board will review each case and determine whether to lift the sanction based on the registrant's conduct.
Also identified that lack of training is the problem, is part of the problem. Federal University closest to each of the center, we will need them to re-engage the center. That is, we will not allow any of these centers to do anything with us until they bring a certificate, a letter from a federal institution closest to that center that their staff had been trained on ethical standards. That is, for instance, you are in Bayelsa, there is 1 week, in 1 month, in 1 That's when you will continue with us.
He noted that for registrants who have enrolled fewer than 50 candidates must submit a formal letter of apology and sign a bond of good conduct to avoid future misconduct. He added that all CBT centers involved in infraction, particularly those operated by federal and public institutions, are mandated to sign a bond and provide evidence of staff training in ethical standards. Also speaking at the meeting, former Lagos State Commissioner of Police Fatai Owoseni, retired, stressed the need to tackle malpractice firmly and end discriminatory practices in Nigeria's legal system. He advocated for strict enforcement of laws against offences such as impersonation and examination fraud.
Apart from the examination malpractices, what we've done under the criminal code is forgery, impersonation. You are supposed to go to prison. Actually, when the registrar started, I said, why do we even have to call you? Because the registrar is aware.
Bashir Gumel, Deputy Provost of Chikora's CBT Center, Bubura, Jigawa State, one of the affected centers, revealed that a local committee had been set up to address infractions, and the committee reportedly summoned those individuals, secured confessions, and committed to restoring integrity at the center. He, however, cautioned about the risk of closing the center, noting its critical role as a first employment opportunity for young people in the area.
There we have summoned all of them to come for fair hearing. We have heard all what they have done, and they've confessed that to return the integrity of our institution, this will not go like that. They have to be punished, and we promise that the mode of action that we've taken will be shared with the JAMB office. And in that regard, again, our center is not established center in the catchment area where there are very few CBT centers. Thus, we therefore more centers. If our center is closed, then where are we heading? Where are children going for JAMB this thing?
A total of 11 CBT centers were identified for infractions by JAMB.
We appreciate you for your reports in there, Priscilla. The maritime component of Operation Hardin K has responded to an attempted infiltration by suspected Boko Haram terrorists on the naval-based Lake Chad located at Fish Dam, Baga in Kuwaka local government area of Borno State. Intelligence resources said Zagazola Makama, a counterinsurgency media expert, that the terrorists who reportedly stormed the facility around 1 a.m. had attempted to sabotage newly acquired swamp boogies recently procured by the Borno State government to aid waterways clearance in the Lake Chad region. This is Global Television, and you're watching the live broadcast of News Cycle with Uyi Agmofogbe. When the rest of the news returns, federal government urged to partner private sector for sports development. We have those details coming shortly, plus business and foreign stories on the other side of this break. Please do stay with us. We appreciate you staying with us, everyone, here on News Cycle. The second part of these news broadcasts now returns with business, where the Central Bank of Nigeria's directive to suspend dividend payment by banks has triggered concerns about the impacts on bank stocks and the wider economy. The move has led to increased volatility and declining share prices in the banking sector, raising fears over recapitalization efforts and investor confidence. Market players have urged caution and called for a balanced approach to regulation that safeguards both the stability of banks and market confidence, thereby supporting economic growth. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, has terminated the contract awarded to Levant Construction Limited over its failure to deliver on the Benin-Sapele-Warri Road project. The road, which is a major federal highway, is being reconstructed under the Road Infrastructure Development and Refurbishment Investment Tax Credit Scheme. Speaking in Abuja after a meeting with contractors handling various sections of the project, Engineer Umahi accused Levant of abandoning its section of the road despite multiple warnings and a final termination notice. And now time to take you beyond the shores of Nigeria. Iran says it has detained 5 suspected agents of Israel's Mossad intelligence agency on charges of tarnishing the country's image online. That's according to Iranian news agencies. They added that the arrest had been made in the western province of Loristan. The arrests came as Iran traded fire with Israel for a 6th day following the aerial assaults on Iranian military and nuclear facilities as well as residential areas which it launched last week. Moscow's security chief says North Korea will send thousands of workers to help rebuild Russia's war-torn Kursk region. Russian Security Council Secretary Sergei Shoigu, who led talks with the North Korea's Kim Jong-un in its capital Pyongyang, described the deployment as fraternal assistance. For months, concerns have swirled over the deepening military collaboration between the two states following reports that thousands of North Korean soldiers are helping Russia fight its war with Ukraine. And now time for some excitement from the world of sports. The federal government has been urged to partner with private organizations in order to bridge the funding gap in grassroots sports development, particularly football, across the country. Speaking at the finals of the Honorable Rashid Super Cup, the organizer, Rashid Shalao, emphasized the untapped football talent across